Mom, Dad, I got 100 marks from today's art class. Wow, you are such a talented young man. Let me see your artwork. We were having our usual family dinner when my son proudly showed off his artwork. I can see how excited he was to show me his beautiful canvas. Look, Mommy, this is you, me, and Daddy. This is us, a happy family. Well done, dearest. This is so beautiful indeed. The future is bright for you. I immediately plastered my eyes on my husband, Theo, who was busy with his phone. I tried to catch him by asking a question. Our son is going to be a famous painter, isn't he, my love? As I threw the question at him, my husband looked at us and quickly disregarded his phone. What did you say, my love? I can see that he couldn't focus his attention on us because he kept on taking glances at his phone. I said Terence would be a famous painter in the future. Do you agree? He did not respond because he was using his phone. Oh, why is Dad so busy? My son whispered to me. I can see the disappointment in his eyes, and this is the last thing I want my son to feel. Dad needs to work hard for us. That is why he is always busy. Let's wait for him to get it done. Then I'm sure he will treat you somewhere fantastic this weekend. As I said those words, my son's face lit up, and he turned to his dad. Wow, Daddy! Thank you so much! I cannot wait till the weekend. You're the best! Terence yelled enthusiastically. Theo was confused about why his son thanked him. The dinner progressed with much talking from Terence and less attention from Theo. We continued eating until my son said something that made Terence physically present again. My art teacher said I should join the school-based art exhibit. You know her, right, Dad? Miss Clark. You saw her last homeroom meeting? Yes. Well, that's good to hear. I'm sure Miss Clark will make a good coach. What meeting? Was there a PTA meeting that I didn't know of? It was urgent one, my love. You were at your mother's house then, and Miss Clark couldn't contact you, so he got me instead. I forgot to tell you about it. Oh, I see. I'm glad you came in for me. I can see the uneasiness in my husband's actions. I caught him shakingly taking side glances at me after Terence spilled that question. I was so confused. There is no way Miss Clark cannot reach me through my phone, and everybody knows how hands-on I am with Terence. I do not understand. Is there something going on? Later that evening, as my husband was sleeping, I could deeply sense that he was hiding something from me. The way he couldn't keep his hands off his phone and his inattentiveness is very out of character. Then I remembered my son's question about meeting with Miss Clark. It is so suspicious. Theo is not the type to attend regular school meetings because he is always busy with work. Add to note, my husband never told me about the school visit. With that thought in my mind, I sneakily snatched my husband's phone. Okay, what do we have here? I whispered as I scrolled through his phone. With no hesitation, I quickly went to his messages. To my surprise, there's nothing suspicious. However, I knew there was something hidden somewhere until I found a random contact named Art. Do you have me for a fool, Theo? Of course, I'm not dumb not to know that it is Miss Clark's alias on his phone. At least he could have picked a less obvious name. I opened their message and my heart shattered at what I saw. They had been texting all this time. They also went on secret dates. I could not believe that Theo had been lying to me all the time. Their exchange of I love yous was heartbreaking, and what's worse, I saw messages where Theo talked bad about me. My wife is so noisy. She always nags at me as if I'm a child. I don't actually like her. I was only forced to marry her because she is already pregnant with Terence. At first, I was skeptical that the baby was mine, but it is what it is. In fact, she was the one who seduced me in college. And look at me now. I'm trapped with her stupid face. She can't even do anything right. She's clumsy and very forgetful. What have I done wrong to live a life with this dumb woman? My heart sank as I read those messages. I cried myself to sleep that night. Morning came and I did my usual routine. I prepared and cooked for my family. As soon as Theo came down from our bedroom, I couldn't see him in the eye. "Good morning, love. You look so beautiful today." I responded with a brief smile. How foolish of me. Every day, he treats me well as if he will not do anything bad. But I was wrong. Behind all that flattery was an unfaithful and a disrespectful husband. After they finished eating their breakfast, I bid farewell to them. I kissed my son on the forehead and forcefully kissed my husband on the cheek. Your kisses light up my morning every single day. Lies. Everything he says are lies. I was utterly manipulated. He fooled me into thinking that he loves me when all this time he thinks and talks bad about me. I called my mother that morning. "Mom, I think Theo is being unfaithful." "Oh my, that's a vile accusation. What makes you think so, dearest?" "I saw his text with Terence's art teacher. He called me names as well." I can hear a utensil drop from the other line. I closed my eyes as I could only imagine the look on my mother's face. "My dear, I am so sorry. How are you? Please, talk to your husband about this." I couldn't help it anymore. I cried and cried. My mother was just there listening to every word that I said. "I did my part, Mom. I served him every day. I gave him a son. I gave him my life and myself. Why would he do this to me? What did I do wrong?" "Hush, my love. You're not the one who's at fault. You did your best to keep your relationship. It's your husband's choice to be unfaithful. Just do the right thing, confront him, and see that he will get what he deserves, a taste of his own medicine." I listened to my mom's advice. I have to confront my husband and ask him about his affair. With that, I decided to fetch my son at school. As soon as I arrived, I bumped into someone. "Oh, Mrs. Thompson, you're here." There was no nervousness nor shock in her voice as she saw me. "I'm here to fetch Terence, Miss Clark. Have you seen him?" "I guess he's playing. You're the mother. You should know where your son is." Her voice was very condescending, as if she was talking to someone lower than her. She was about to walk past when I caught her smirking. I instantly grabbed her arm and finally looked her in the eye. "I know what you're doing, Miss Clark. You and my husband are having an affair." "I have mistaken you for a dumb one, Mrs. Thompson. You're quite clever. I guess Theo was wrong, but still, you're stupid to believe that Theo loves you. And yes, you're right. If you were not too controlling with your husband, he wouldn't have found me." Bold of you to assume that I will not take any measures about this. I will make sure that both of you will suffer the consequences. "Oh, really, Mrs. Thompson? Are you going to make a scandal? Really? Right here in this school? Oh, I bet not. Not when little Terence's reputation is at stake. He's a prodigy. You don't want his future to be tarnished, don't you? Just because of your delusions." "Mom, you're here?" My son called and ran towards me. I quickly composed myself and hugged him as soon as he got close to me. "Mom, look! An invitation to the school's art exhibit. I am the class representative." "Wow, Terence, you're surely going to make your mom and dad proud of you." Miss Clark inserted. She looked at me with a mocking sigh. Don't worry, Mrs. Thompson. I will take care of him. And right at that instant, I was fuming mad. Of your son, of course, she smirked. If my son was not here, I would have taught her a lesson. Come, let's go home. My son and I left. As we were having dinner, my husband was still busy on his phone. Love, can you put down your phone? Oh yes, sorry. What was that again? We were talking about Terrence's art contest next week. Are you coming? Well, of course, yes. Is Miss Clark going to be your coach, son? I almost gagged with my food. Does he have to ask that question? Yes, Dad. She's a very talented art teacher. Oh, by the way, she told me that you should visit our classroom to see my artwork. My husband cleared his throat while I immediately chugged down a glass of water. The awkwardness filled the dining room. Haha, I will surely do that. How about Mommy? Did she ask her to come as well? The nervousness in my husband's voice was very evident. No, Dad. She specifically asked for you to come. I don't know why she didn't ask for Mommy, though. I looked at my husband, and his uneasiness was very obvious. That night, I felt the urge to confront him about his affair, but I was afraid that he would deny it, or worse, confess the unfaithful deed. I have something to tell you. What is it, my love? He reached out for my face, but I moved away. I know about your affair. I saw his eyes widen. What do you mean? Cut it out, Theo. I saw the text messages, especially the ones where you insulted me. You're having an affair with Terrence's art teacher, and you are insulting me, your wife. How could you do that to me? My husband laughed. I won't deny that, Jenna, because it is true. You're stupid, dumb, and I was forced to entrap myself with you. He shouted right in front of me. I bursted into tears. I love you with all my heart. How could you hurt me like this? I need a way out of this miserable life. I need to get away from you. I did nothing wrong, Theo. Your whole existence is a curse to my life. Your mother forced me to marry you. Since then, my life has been trapped in this hellhole, and the only thing you did to me was giving birth to my son. His words left me in shock. Then you could have left me from the start, instead of pretending that you are happy and content with me. I wish that was easy, but now I met someone that can truly make me feel what it is to love. Please, Theo, do not leave us. I begged and knelt in front of him. He pushed me and I was dragged to the ground. He threw the wedding ring on the floor and stepped on it. Look at that. This is our marriage. It's broken. I was devastated by what he said. I could not believe he could say those words in front of me. I broke down that night as he left us. I immediately called my mother. Mom, Theo left. God, Jenna, are you being serious? How are you? Where is my grandson? I can feel my mother's concern from the other end of the line. Mom, he just left us. I know he's going to his mistress. He said he doesn't love me, and he was only forced to marry me. Where is that jerk now? He's a monster for doing that to you. Never chase that guy again. If he has one last conscience left in his body, he will come back and ask for forgiveness in respect of you, his wife, and your son. If he's a total jerk, then let him be. You deserve better than that. Just remember that you have a lovely son that will never leave you, and that is enough. My mother's word comforted me. For the past few days, Theo never came back to our house. Mom, when is Daddy coming back? He's going to come back soon, love. He's just very busy with work. I'm running out of excuses already. Every day my son asks me about Theo. I got no news from him since the day he left. He did not leave a single penny that could sustain the needs of our son. Nonetheless, I can provide for my son. The day of Terrence's art exhibition came. When we arrived at the venue, I saw Miss Clark approaching us. The audacity of this girl is very high. "Hi, Terrence." She greeted my son lively. She knelt so that he could level his height. She held his hand, but my son brushed his hands off. Terrence ran towards his friends after that. Mrs. Clark cleared her throat and stood up. She looked me in the eyes and smirked again. "It's good to see you again, Mrs. Thompson. I mean, Jenna. I think I'm the new Mrs. Thompson now." "I don't feel good seeing you again, Miss Clark." I said it in a very calm tone. She chuckled. "Don't worry, you still have that surname, but rest assured I will steal it from you anytime soon. Also, I'm sure Terrence will win today. It's your time to celebrate, because I'm done celebrating. I already won, remember?" "Are you sure winning my husband is worth a celebration?" "Think again." "Of course. Low girls like you cannot appreciate a high man like my boyfriend, or should I say, your ex-husband." She followed it with a chuckle. I want to slap her right there and then, but the contest has started. Halfway through the contest, someone came in. It was Theo. Miss Clark immediately flashed a sweet smile at him, and he smiled back. I'm so curious about what my son was painting, because we were not allowed to look at their works. When the contest ended, the announcement of winners followed, and the artworks were also revealed. "And the first place is Terrence Thompson. Congratulations!" The crowd cheered, and my son won. He went up the stage with a joyful smile on his face. His artwork is going to be revealed right in front of everyone. The judge slowly uncovered the portrait, and soon it was revealed. The crowd went silent, and everyone was staring at my husband and Miss Clark. As soon as I realized what my son has drawn, I gaped. It was Miss Clark and Theo holding hands at the back of the school. My son caught the act. Miss Clark dashed out of the venue, and my husband apologized to everyone staring at him. Some of the parents came to me and comforted me. However, I quickly went to my son and hugged him. "Do not worry, Mommy. He will not hurt us again. I promise that." Then he gave me a small canvas. It was the two of us, me and my son, in our living room, laughing and crying. "We are happy, just the two of us," he said. I hugged him so tight and cried in his arms. My husband came to us and apologized. "Jenna, I'm so sorry. I will fix everything. My son, please forgive me," he pleaded. "But I guess it is better this way, just me and my son. You wronged us both, and it will take a long time to regain our trust. You hurt me, Theo, and it is something that will not heal in an instant. This time you must learn your lesson the hard way. We are leaving you." Before he could reply, Terrence and I headed to our car, but Miss Clark was waiting there. "What do you want?" She went on her knees and begged, "I am so sorry, Mrs. Thompson. Please do not do something that will ruin my reputation. I had enough already." "You should have thought about that before you ruin our family. Both of you will suffer the consequences." We left her there. Talks about the scandal quickly escalated. Miss Clark was fired from the school while Theo got demoted, and I continued taking legal action to receive the proper compensation that my son and I deserve.